Linus, welcome to Ottawa. I guess my first question would be, you had some control over this process with a no trade clause. So could you maybe walk us through kind of what convinced you to kind of waive that and say, I'm okay to come to Ottawa?
Well, first of all, Ottawa wasn't on my list, so there was nothing to wave at.
Okay, well that answers that question. Well, I guess maybe then a bigger picture question. What do you find appealing about the Senators right now?
Well, first of all, it's a very young but exciting team. There's a lot of speed, a lot of skills, and whenever we played them, it always felt like they played a really solid game. Obviously, there was something that they kept doing against everybody during the season, but they really showed how dangerous and how good they can be. And it's all about consistency in my mind. And hopefully, going into this season with some new coaching staff and all that sort of stuff, we can get that ball rolling. And once we do that, that's going to be a very dangerous team going forward.
Okay, the next question is from Bruce Garriak at Post Media.
Hi, Linus. Just wanted to ask you, do you know anybody here, and did you speak to anybody before the trade went, or even after the trade went down?
Well, Bruce, I've spoken to Anton Forsberg, which is a fellow Swede, but also a dear friend of mine since the junior days here in Modo Hockey. So that was a lot of fun, and I spoke to Afi as well, a little bit about the situation and what he feels that we're going to do and how the city is and stuff like that. So, and I've had some other players reach out to me, a whole bunch of them. For example, the captain Brady reached out, Giroux, Patterson, a couple other guys as well. So just to name a few. And I feel very welcomed. And also my wife feels the same way. And, there's a big reason for us at least that we feel, how should I say, we feel very satisfied with that approach. There's something that I felt very proud of as a Bruin when I signed there. We had players like Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand that reached out at that point, making you feel welcome. And to see that from the leadership group here in Ottawa as well is very promising. And it goes to show what kind of a personnel and persons they are.
And I think one of the things, can you kind of discuss a little bit what potential you see with this team, having faced them a few times last year?
Like I said on the first question, that it's a very dangerous, it's a very quick team, very good in transitions, but also it can be pretty heavy. There's you got Brady that's pulling the boat forward as well. They can do everything out there. So I'm gonna say the same thing. It's all about consistency. It's all about winning on a daily basis, trying to achieve something new and evolve as a player, as a person every single day, and not be satisfied just because you won maybe 1 or 2 games or maybe even 3 games in a row. And you got to keep doing that. You can't just let you win 3 or 4 and then you lose 3 or 4. So it's all about the consistency of winning that will get you into the playoff. And once playoff starts, everything can happen.
Linus, the next question is from Claire Hanna at TSN.
Hey, Linus, nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person here in Ottawa. We obviously know the great relationship you had with Swayman. How important is it for you to either have a tandem versus being the clear #1 guy with an organization?
I don't think it's very important. I'm excited and I'm very glad for the opportunity and the conversations that I've had with Steve and the other people surrounding the team, that they believe in my skill and what I can bring to the team. So for me, it's always something that I dreamt about, being a clear #1 and stuff like that, and playing a lot of games. And, I showed my skill level, obviously, a couple of years ago, but throughout my career as well, I felt like I've become better and better. every single year, and then obviously sometimes you're gonna have a heck of a year, and then sometimes you're gonna have just a good year or a great year. And I'm hoping for this season to come that it's gonna be a great one.
And just to follow up on that, you mentioned, Anton Forsberg's a dear friend of yours and that you spoke to Alfie. What were those conversations like? And how much did they factor into your decision to come to Ottawa? Just having those relationships with fellow Swedes even.
Well, it means a lot. Obviously, there's always the special thing having a person that's from your home, and that you can kind of connect with and have the same values as. And I mean, me and Sokan or Anton, we were probably just an hour away and always grew up close to each other. That's our way, and played against each other. So it's gonna be fun. It's been 10 years since we were a tandem last time. So it's gonna be a lot of fun being around them every single day. But it's also gonna be fun getting to know, a whole new team with players that maybe I've looked up to or felt like these guys are great or they're very hard to play against, and hoping to bring something new and exciting to them as well.
What did you call him? Soka?
Sokan, which means, well, you can ask him what it means. It's a nice word.
Okay, thank you. Tak.
We'll go next to Wayne at Sportsnet.
Hello, Linus. Welcome. I have a couple of questions for you.
I get you too.
Thanks. When you settle into a new team, how important is it for your family to be comfortable? I mean, you're a husband and a father of 2 young children. What do you know about Ottawa and what life might be like for your family here?
The thing that everybody talked about is that Ottawa is a great place to raise a family. And that speaks volumes to me. And I feel very comfortable being, settling in to Ottawa, finding a place to stay. And it's, once you become a father and you have 2 kids and all that sort of things, it's a lot of things that's happening off the ice that you can't control, but you want to be in as much as control as possible. So I've learned through experiences that once everything is taken care of off the ice, the on ice stuff is gonna, play it out on its own. So that way, I'm putting down a lot of time and effort right now to find a good place to stay and figure out what the city brings or can bring, in the sense of schools or living or restaurants or anything like that. But it's also going to be a little bit of an adventure as well to finding these places, finding these things, and getting to experience that firsthand personally.
I guess everybody wants to know about the goalie hugs. Now, Anton seems like kind of a huggable guy, but is that something that will stay behind in Boston, or do you think you would carry that tradition forward with Ottawa?
I haven't really thought about it, but I'm not going to bring it to Ottawa. That is, the patent and the goalie hug that we had in Boston. That's for me and Sway only, and that's out of respect for what we had and what we built through our years together, and the respect and love and admiration that I have for him. There's certainly, I'm not going to say we're going to come up with something new or anything like that. There's always been, the celebrations after games or after winning games. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a dab or something, but I'm not gonna, try too hard to come up with a new thing or something like that. I'm just gonna have to let it play out naturally.
Thank you.
We'll go next, Linus, to Lisa Wallace at the Canadian Press.
The Ottawa, and as Claire said, look forward to meeting you in person. I guess my question is, were you somewhat preparing yourself for something like this to happen, just with the way things had been playing themselves out in Boston?
I'm sorry, I didn't really catch you there. Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I guess, were you somewhat expecting that to be traded or that a move would take place just with the way things were playing out in Boston towards the end of the season?
Oh, now I see. I mean, it's a part of the job. There's always there's always a time in your life or in your career when you're up on the trade market or anything like that, and it's just purely business. Once you start something, you always want to finish it, but at the same time, new opportunities can present themselves from these other things. So I would have loved to have won in Boston, but at the same time now I'm as excited and looking forward to having the same opportunity, but in Ottawa and with the fellas there.
And just, I guess, to follow up on that, you've touched on it a little. Do you look at Ottawa? I mean, you mentioned the youth that they have. What can you maybe bring from the experience of having played with a guy like Patrice Bergeron or Marchand, and seeing, a veteran team, what can they can accomplish to what maybe a young team like Ottawa needs to take that next step?
I'm hoping to bring consistency. I'm hoping to bring effort and attitude, something that you always can control, and something that I've learned as well, playing with these all-timers and Hall of Famers, because it's true. It's one of the reasons why a team like Boston has been so successful for so many years, and I was always eager to learn and try to understand why they were so good. So once I actually had the opportunity now to experience it firsthand, it was an eye-opener. And it is hard. Winning is very hard in this league, and something that should never take for granted. And that's why I always try to have a smile on my face, try to bring a good attitude, try to bring effort every single day, and then, see what happens down the road.
Thank you.
We'll go next, Linus, to Murray Pam at Full Press Hockey.
Hi, Linus. Welcome to Ottawa. Just a quick question regarding can you maybe elaborate on your training schedule for the rest of the summer and when you're going to be arriving in Ottawa?
Wow, what a question. Yeah, well, I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out some more. I'm going to enjoy myself as well with my kids. Probably going to have to work out with my kids as well in the gym. So it's the same old, basically. Well, when I was younger, obviously, there was a lot of emphasis on building muscles, getting leaner, stuff like that. But once you actually hit a certain number in your age, you kind of have that physique built in. So it's not as important. I would say that the mental game is a lot more important for me right now. I'm still working out very hard. I'm still trying to find ice times once they actually present themselves. But I'm never stressed about getting ice time in the summers, just because there's such a long season. There's so many repetitions. There's so many shots. There's so many things that takes a toll on your body. And I've learned through experience now that I don't need to stress too much about the on-ice things as much as I maybe should emphasize on the off-ice things. And from the other side, I do not know when I will arrive in Ottawa. I'm going to have a conversation with the team management and director a little bit later, see if we can figure something out. But I'm hoping that'll be sooner than later, obviously.
We'll go next to Martin Comtois at Radio-Canada.
Welcome to Ottawa. I got booted out of the Zoom call, so I don't know if the question was asked to you, but was there any discussions yet for extension?
Ah, there it is. I was wondering when it was going to show up, that little question. Not yet. As what I know at least, I've said that to my agent as well. I mean, it's only been like a little bit over 24, 36 hours. So it's very fresh. So we're going to still have, my biggest concerns right now is finding a place for my family to live in, and finding schools for my kids, and getting to know the people in Ottawa, and also in the Senators. So the whole contract situation and the talks about that is something that Steve and my agent will deal with off the side. And I told him as well that once there's something that needs to be discussed, you can always reach me, obviously, because me being the player, I think that I'm the one signing it. So that's the situation right now. And I try not to look too far ahead. I try to stay in the moment and not worry about what may be or what could be in the future, and instead just enjoying the present.
Maybe a follow-up question to something that was asked earlier about the no trade clause. Was Ottawa on that list at one point before? Like you said, it wasn't there, but was it in the past?
No, I don't think.
Never?
No, there
Okay.
wasn't. No, I mean, I had what was it? No move clauses my first 2 years. So I wasn't able. There was no team, that I could be traded to those years, and then the next one was this one. So like I said, there's only been 1 year that this list has been what's it called, posted. So they were never on the list to begin with.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Alex Adams at the Hockey News.
Hey, Linus, welcome to Ottawa. My question is just a bit about, you've never played more than, kind of 49 games in a season. I'm just curious what that preparation is potentially to play 55, 60 games. You talked about mentality. Just maybe talk about that potential of playing a bit more games that you've ever played before in the NHL.
It's a lot of fun. It's an exciting times ahead. I mean, people always say that, and they complain about that I haven't played more than 49 games or played more than 50% of the time. And then I just tell them that, well, I played 1 year, and I played more than 50% of the time, and it kind of goes to show what happened at that point. But jokes aside, when it comes to playing more games, it's harder, but it's also easier in the sense of once you are on a roll and you play like a couple of games in a row, and that you have that flow, and things are happening automatically more than it is if you play every third game or you play every fourth game or anything like that. Then it's a little bit hard, because then you kind of feel like you have to rev up the engine again. So once you actually get the multiple starts in a row, that's when you can really build on your game, and that's when you see also in which areas your game are lacking, and then you can make adjustments to it. Compared to if you play less games, then you just try to feel that, okay, I have to make the most out of this one, because otherwise I will not have the opportunity to play again. And in my mind, I think it's easier mentally to play a lot of games, because like I said, it happens more, automatically, the movements, the thoughts, everything like that. And also, once you get the opportunity to rest, you can, completely rest, instead of feeling that you always have to be engaged in every single game and never feel like you get the rest that you might need. So I think I speak for every single goaltender in the whole wide world that it's a lot more fun playing most of the games than it is playing less of the games.
Okay, for the last question this morning, we'll go back to Ian at The Athletic.
Are we already done, Chris?
Well, it looks like somebody else has got one more, so maybe not. I probably spoke too
Fire
soon.
them up.
Okay.
Still got coffee in my mug, so I'm ready.
Ah, terrific. Okay, I got two more for you then, Linus. First of all, could you talk a little bit about Bob Essensa's influence on you as a goalie coach in Boston?
Goalie Bob is a special human being in all the right ways. He is a terrific guy. He's a special human being, and he brings a smile to my face every time I see him, whenever I'm around him. We've had our conversations, our discussions throughout the years, but there's never been any bad blood, and we've always had a good understanding of what needs to be done. and I've enjoyed every single moment together with him, and I have a lot of gratitude towards Bobby. And I've said it before, and I really do think that goalie coaches should be available to be selected into the Hall of Fame. And I think he is our first ballot Hall of Famer in that regards.
And my other question for you would be, you've played for obviously the last couple of years for a legitimate Stanley Cup contender that you probably rolled into training camp each year and everyone talked about the Stanley Cup. Now you're coming to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 7 years. And I'm wondering, is there like an adjustment maybe to your mentality when you switch situations like this?
No, I don't think so. Or I know so. It's never going to change. I don't play just because it's fun. Being an NHL player, it is a full-time job. And I don't play just for, I was about to say some bad words. I'm sorry. But I kept my composure. But we're not just playing for fun. We're playing to win. And that's the most important part. Winning is fun. And losing is a lot more boring. And I've been on that side of the spectrum as well. And I know how it feels. And I know that it's so much harder going to work when you're losing. So once you actually do win a lot, everything becomes easier. The sun shines just a little bit brighter. And all the situations in your life are a lot easier to handle. So why would I try to change my, reasoning or my philosophy or anything like that just because I'm switching teams? If I did that, I don't think that Ottawa would, even want me. We want to win, and every team wants players that wants to win and probably understands how to win. And that's the mentality that I try to bring into this squad as well.
And now for the last question, it's Bruce at Post Media.
Make it a good one.
I find it a unique situation, and I don't know if you do, that you're staying in the division. Have you thought about that at all? You went from Buffalo to Boston, now to Ottawa. Does that say anything to you, or do you think that's unique at all?
I don't know. I think this division loves me then. I don't know. No, I haven't thought about that. Obviously, when at the point of my time when I was in Buffalo and Boston came knocking, you see and I was a free agent and could decide whatever I wanted to. Then you're going from like the team that was probably the worst in the league at that point, and you have like you guys have said, a serious contender on the other side. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. I want to go there. I want to have the opportunity to win it. So at that point, it was a no-brainer. For this one, I don't know, because I am not the one making the deals. I'm just a player. I'm just Linus. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to do my very best and achieve as much as possible for myself and for my family, but also for the team that I'm playing for. And you just gotta, play the hand that you've been dealt with. And like I said before, at this point, the sun is shining. Life is pretty darn good at the moment. I'm very excited about what's to come because I see a lot of potential in the Ottawa Senators.